Okay, hello and welcome all. Just We'll begin in a few moments. Before that, can you just confirm if there is no problems in the audio and the video as such? Kindly put up a thumbs up so that I know that everything is fine. Okay. Okay, I've got one confirmation as such. So yes, today and yesterday we had put up some important ideas. Yes, yeah. Okay, thank you very much to the viewers who have just given us the confirmation. We shall begin now. Yesterday was a very good day, I would say, because despite low volatility in the European fiats and European currencies, there was very good movement in gold as well as dollar index and a few other pairs. Hi, hello, everyone who has put come up. So yeah, really good day yesterday. Despite of the low volatility, I would say that was one of the most outstanding days, uh, which has been in the last week. Considering the last week, good movement, good swing setups were possible, and we had already put up notifications in our group as to what to expect. Correct, and obviously the movement was easily captured by those instructions. The problem is all of these instructions that we are going to discuss here, uh, they are going to be for educational purposes, okay? And most of the times we discuss certain ideas and certain, setups that are emerging in the market. So those particular setups are completely for education purposes only, and they do not mean any form of uh, ideas for trading or something like that. Okay, what we are doing here is to understand the market better, and that's what market insights is for. Correct. So it's for your education, it's for your understanding. So let us begin as such what to expect this in this particular week, and what has happened in the last week, because I suppose we had not been there. I suppose I had not taken a session. So many things have occurred over the last week, and let us see. I suppose it is visible. The calendar is visible. Yeah. If it is not, then kindly post it in the chat box. If it is visible, then just share that as well. Okay. I suppose it is visible. Okay. Yes. So this is the scenario. Correct. Yesterday, bank holiday, CNY. Okay. Then bank holiday, Swiss franc, GBP, Euro, bank holidays, right? Different reasons, but lower volatility was pretty much expected from all these currencies, correct? And then we had manufacturing PMI and manufacturing prices, construction spending by the USD. And USD, quite frankly, shocked everyone because the expectations were quite low. Uh, and it is already very low, but to be honest, it is faring fairly well, I would say, despite the extreme, expectations of the market and the investors that USD is going to come down or the recession is already here and things like that. So overall, that is the situation. But let us go back a little bit and find out what had happened in the last week. Okay, so the last week was like this. We saw certain CPI certainly going up. Okay, for Australian dollar, it was somewhere around 7% year on year, and 1.4% was the increase quarter on quarter, and that was the reason why I will show you. Because today's session, our main agenda is to capture the Australian dollar and what has happened in the rate revision. What was the basic stance of Reserve Bank of Australia? We'll have to go through that, right? So that is our main motive here, but that is basically, this is the basic context of why there was uh, the rate hike. Okay, so this is the basic context, that the CPI has not come down yet. Okay, and there's still pretty much long way to go for Australian dollar to control and to, basically uh, resolve the inflation issue, right? Now, getting back to this particular scenario, USD was quite good in the last week. Okay, the movements were good. Advanced GDP was negative, but unemployment claims were positive. Okay, so overall, going up and down, that was the scenario. The thing is, important thing that I would say is Japan. Okay, it is April. It is the April has gone, and now currently we are in the month of May, and still Bank of Japan is on the expansionary phase. Okay, they are not increasing their interest rates because they believe that their inflation is still down. This is a very precarious situation for other currencies, which are basically the major pairs which are uh, trading alongside yen, and yen becomes a very lucrative option to sell. Okay, so this is the scenario. Euro, German CPI, it has been very low. Euro, what is the impact of this particular scenario that we will look at on the charts? Okay, and then last but not the least, PCE for USD. So PCE was quite frankly as expected, 0.3%. Employment cost index 1.2%, slightly higher. But the PMI was quite positive. Okay, the PMI was good, and that is what led to a slight pump for the USD, and that is what is happening when we extend it to this week. Okay, the first thing that we noticed was the manufacturing PMI for Chinese yen, that is the Chinese economy, was a bit low than expected. Okay, not too much, but yes, it is considered, bad for the currency, right? So overall, this led to a, a better, improvement in the USD, basically a good support for the USD overall. But when it came to this particular scenario, that is the manufacturing PMI, which was quite honestly good, considering the current situation and the current news in the market, it is quite good. Okay, and we will obviously see what impact it had on the charts. Okay, when it went up and how it was. Now, the star of the week is Australian dollar. Obviously, cash rate was revised, 25 basis point hike from 3.6% to 3.85%. And the reason given was inflation, obviously, that it has not come down, and they need to adjust inflation. So they are also expecting a few more hikes before they can, maybe slow down or maybe reverse the rate hike cycle. Okay, so that is the scenario. Overall, though, the situation for Australian dollar, and quite honestly other currencies as well, looks very promising, but continued support for the dollar, continued support for the US economy in the form of PMI, in the form of employment numbers, in the form of NFP data. This continued support has led to the constant speculation of the investors. Okay, constant yes or no wala situation for the investors, and that is quite honestly a big trouble for those who are trading with small money, or let's say for example less capital, because they have to decide for themselves, because these big players are playing their own game, and people believe yes, there is uh, time for the downfall of the USD, but it is not just giving up. Okay, so we will see on the chart what is happening, or what I'm talking about. Okay, now another thing that we saw is CPI flash estimate. Okay, flash estimate is Quite honestly, the first one, I suppose. Okay, so it was actually similar to what was expected, but core CPI is also coming down. Okay, from a 5.7 to 5.6. Okay, so it has come down a little bit, but it doesn't mean that it will ensure as such that USD will get support. Okay, so we will see what on the chart what happened. Okay, but today one more important aspect is remaining. One more data is remaining. That is the JOLTS job openings. Correct. Now, analyst expectations is 9.74 million as opposed to the previous one of 9.93 million. Okay, now the situation is that the job openings can give USD good support. Okay, but if it is down, then that will be a bad news for the dollar. Okay, for the greenback, and we may see some retracement, some pullbacks in the price action. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, and next we will see ADP non-farm employment change tomorrow, federal funds rate to be revised, and there is a very good possibility for a 25 basis point hike, and that is why there is a continued support for dollar as well, right? And after that, yes, main refi rate will come for European bank, right? So European Central Bank is also thinking okay, for a 25 basis point hike. So that is also a possibility, which is going to happen on Thursday, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it will be a 25 basis point hike. That is very much likely, or a slightly higher as well. We cannot just put off that particular possibility. That possibility is quite very much on the table, I would say. So 25 plus basis point hike we can expect from European Central Bank on Thursday, and accordingly euro will get that particular support that it is looking to get, right? Next, we will have unemployment claims. Obviously, every week it comes. It's quite important. ECB press conference, okay. IVPMI, okay. Then we would say RBA monetary policy statement will come. People will scrutinize the statement and will get to know what is the basic sentiment among the RBA governors and the members of the monetary policy committee, right? Next, we have got Swiss franc CPI 12 p.m. Friday. Friday is going to be very much exciting because of these three things that are going to come out. Okay, average hourly earnings, NFP data, that is non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate. So overall, it is going to be one amazing week. Okay, because this week has started off very slowly with very low volatility, but still so many bank holidays, still good movements in the currency pairs, and amazing moments, I would say, amazing moments in commodities as well. So just we what we need is to capture those moments. Okay, that is very much crucial for us. Is there any trouble in the audio? If there is, kindly post, because I might not be able to understand if there is any trouble or not. Okay. Only charge got it? Okay. Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Amon. Everything is fine. Now let us go to our charts here, and that's where we do the real stuff. Okay. Just give me a moment. Okay. Yes. I suppose the chart is visible. If not, kindly post. Okay, you know the whole procedure. Now quite some time we have been doing this, and everything is going you know very smoothly. But sometimes what happens is, uh, sometimes I'm not well, or some days, it is not just happening for us, right? So what we do is we skip that week. So what we are currently doing now is completely educational, that one needs to understand. Okay, and if there is any form of ambiguity in what my words are, you can just take the help of one of our teammates. They can help you understanding the markets a little bit more uh, clearly, because what I do here is a bit, I would say, very fast. Sometimes I go very fast, and sometimes I might make people miss certain points, and I don't want that to happen. If you're feeling that it is a bit too fast for you guys, so you just post in the chat box that maybe slow down a little, right? So that, in that way, I would know that yes, it is going a bit fast. Now let us start with gold, or let us start with something else, because we have got so many things to see. First, let us begin with this. Okay, so this is the scenario of USD. It is constantly come down from a very good range, that is around 114, that it peaked, and then it went slowing down, completely pulling back all the way to the levels of, I would say, April 2022. So this is where we are. The situation is not bad because it is on the support. Okay, multiple supports are present, and it is actually going up. It is making an upside. Okay, because it has stopped this growth. Okay, let me just delete everything because it might not be visible. But all of these levels are very important, to be very frank. Let me just delete those. Okay, I'll put it up back again. Okay. So yes, this, you look at this particular rectangle. If I'm not sure. Maybe you will be able to see it or not. This rectangle was, I suppose, proposed by us, and this is a good position for buying and all, right? So still, contrarian kind of trading was happening. People had bought at this particular position. Now the good thing to look at is that if you are considering this as a peak, okay, and if I'm making a trend line which is capable of touching all the highs, then you see exactly, okay, the price has maintained this particular trend line, okay, and then it went out and came down. So false breakout, we need to update it like that, and then we have got this particular consolidation on the trend line. Okay, this is the first sign of the trend line being broken. Okay, but I don't like this situation. Why? Because there needs to be a clean breakout. Okay, the more ambiguous it is, the more problematic it is for us. I suppose there is any network issues. If there is, kindly post in the chat box if the screen is not visible, something like that. Okay, I suppose the network is quite good, but it is somehow showing low network or something like that. Network is good from my end. I don't know why it is not capturing that network. Okay. Mm, okay. Yes. So there is no problems in the network. Are you guys able to see it properly? Yes, I suppose not got a confirmation from anyone. But if the network is not good, if my voice is breaking in between, let me know. Okay, or any voice is there, noise is there, just let me know. So yeah, here we were. Okay, so this is the trend line, and I don't see something getting broken. So if we are able to see that this peak can be adjusted like this, so that we can see it better. Okay, it is making lower highs since then, and this is where it took the support. If you can see on this day, somewhere around this range was there. It took the support on the trend line, and then it started going up, right? So it started going up, and now it is at this particular position. Now, why it is important? Because it has already broken this high. Okay, 101,925, which had been the high for the yesterday. Just give me a moment. Okay, we have got one suggestion. Double bottom as such. Okay, I don't think so, because double bottom na, uh, I would say it requires a fairly good downtrending movement, fairly good. Okay, and once it makes one low, then it goes up fairly well upside. Okay, and then it comes down, and then it comes goes up. Okay, the downtrend is quite jumble here. Okay, it's quite not exactly what we are looking for in a double bottom. Okay, so also it is not being supported by the fundamental factors. Okay, because if the dollar is getting this much support from this particular point to this particular point, okay, from 100.7 to current price, that is 101.9, that's almost 102, right? What I'm talking about here is looking at the higher highs instead of forcing a pattern, because we can't force a pattern. Okay, we can just confuse ourselves more. Okay, because this is the down look at this. Okay, I'm just going to clarify it for you. You've got one. You've got one. To those who are looking at this from YouTube, we've got a very good question. That is there a potential double bottom? That is a good question. But what I need to tell you here is that look at the downtrend here. Okay, it has come down to this point. It has went up. It has taken first bottom that it has made. It is here. Okay, but we do not want this upside. Okay, in a double bottom, we do not want this upside. We want a consistent downside. Okay, so, and plus this particular trend line, I suppose it will be helpful somewhere. Okay, this is around this particular trend line, if you're talking about, right? So double bottom wala trend line, it it doesn't make sense. Okay, because it has moved up this particular neckline, it is facing a resistance that is very obvious. Okay, so from that point of view, you can consider that this is the neckline that has formed, and currently it is facing a resistance and support at the same time. Yesterday, it had made a high around 101.946, which was almost somewhere around 101.921. You can look at the high here from where we are reading. So 101.921 of this particular candle. Okay, and this is the candle that we are talking about. So 101.946, that is quite very it is very uh, close to that particular line. Yeah, but today it has opened at 102.086, so slightly higher than that particular line. It has opened at this particular position. If you can look, there's a slight upside. Okay, so that is the scenario. It has covered a lot. Okay, it has covered a lot, and if it covers the day in this particular trajectory, okay, because we are still expecting a funds rate, you know and funds rate hike. Okay, federal funds rate hike. Okay, so from a fundamental perspective as well, today what we will expect is Jolt job openings has to be positive. Then tomorrow, kindly pardon me. So today, Jolt job openings has to be positive. Then tomorrow, the ADP non-farm employment change has to be positive. Then ISM services PMI has to be positive, which is probably it is going to be positive. And then at the end of tomorrow, right, almost around midnight, okay, we are going to expect the funds rate. So that is the scenario. Till that time it has to be positive, okay, for continued growth here. Okay, if there is continued growth, okay, then only we can see that yes, this trend line will be maintained, this particular neckline will be maintained. Otherwise this doesn't make sense, okay, to buy at this particular, because if you will see, I have not seen RSI for a very long time. Let's put it up. Okay, it is in, it has just crossed this particular neutral 50% value line, right? It's 51.573 something around, right? So that means that there is a ambiguity currently in the market, because it is not making a consistent upside. Okay, it is taking a good position. It looks as if it is a good position of buying, but the thing is, it is in the ambiguous zone. Okay, neutral zone. Okay, neither it is in the oversold or overbought. Okay, so both the situation are not applicable in this situation. What does this mean? Obviously it is making a higher high, and there might be a continued upside also, because RSI line is above this particular line, signal line, right? So it might come down and it might take the support from this support line, and then it might go up, or it might become overbought. But one more thing to note here is that this is the daily time frame. Can you wait for that particular thing to happen? No, absolutely not, right? So it depends upon the data, it depends upon a lot of things. Okay, potential double top, double bottom, not possible. I don't think so, because the downtrend has to be very clear. Okay, moving on. However, this trend line is not just any bogus trend line. Okay, we can expect a retracement to this point if the data is not good. Okay, that is also a possibility. Now, all this positivity, all this movement upside, let us see how much movement upside it is. Okay, so let us consider from this point to this point for today's high. So within 3 days, we have got 1.1% movement upside. That is 1100 pips upside. Okay, so that is also a possibility, right? So this is too much. Okay, considering from a trading perspective. Okay, this is quite good for overall trading perspective, because our range is somewhere around here. If I'm going to a smaller time frame, you will be able to see it very clearly, this particular range I'm talking about, right? So this is where 101.122, that was the range, right? So let us go down to a smaller time frame. Okay, then we will be able to see that range very precisely. Okay, it is here, right? And this is where the magic began. Okay, somewhat something happened. I completely forgot it, just slipped out of my mind. But look at this scenario. Okay, now here it has made a complete recovery. Okay, complete V recovery, going down, going up, and then it has started consolidating. Not exactly consolidating, but yeah, somewhat of a downtrending consolidation. Okay, and then it has made a range. This range is not very precise from the perspective that somewhere, somehow, okay, so somewhere somehow this particular position, yeah, this range will work or not, that is very ambiguous, because it is coming into this particular zone and it is leaving this zone like it is some, non-existent zone or something like that. Okay, it is not a non-existent zone, it is a very good buying position. Okay, so how did I get this? I might have seen some particular movement from the back. Okay, so if we retrace this, okay, so this is the scenario. It has taken an upside from this zone perfectly well. Okay, so if this can happen, and then this is also a possibility, right? So this is the scenario overall. Okay. Yes. So this is what is going on in USDX. Now currently this range remains out of bounds for the particular price action. But one more thing that I would like you to note is this particular number 101.96, right? That we saw just before we started. This is the high that it has made previously, right? And this is also the high. This is almost a confluence cluster, okay? That is why this particular level becomes very important, okay? If you see in the past action, it has acted as a resistance multiple times, okay? Multiple times, okay? Look at this, look at this. You can go on, and I can show you multiple times it has acted as a resistance, okay? So what currently is happening, it is again acting as a resistance, okay? But now, currently, the market is quite positive that yes, 25 basis points hike is very much possible in May. Okay, so for that possibility, the people are betting for this particular thing. Okay, for this thing to go up, right? Apart from that, if we need to see some other things, okay, so let us see that as well. Okay, it will load up. Give it some time. Okay, sure. Now look at this. Okay, it is still positive, but this is 15-minute time frame. Okay, this is 15-minute time frame. We need to note this, and somehow the price action is uh, ambiguous in this particular zone. Okay, it has taken just enough support to remain above this particular line, 101.96. Okay, and then it is still facing somewhat of a resistance because the white EMA, this white EMA line, 7 days EMA, this is moving up. It has just touched the 13-day moving average and is recovering from that position. So, somewhat of a bullish position can be understood, but what can happen is it can come down as well. Okay, so that is an ambiguous situation for now. Okay, also it is on our resistance level. Okay, not this line is not very absolute pointed line. Okay, this is an ambiguous zone. So if I'm telling you this is a line where we need to be very focused on, right? So I'm telling you we have to be focused on this zone first, right? So plus minus 10, 5, 15 pips, something like that. Okay, like that we have to consider it. Okay, so this is the ambiguous zone that we're talking about. Okay, this is the ambiguity, whether it will go up or down or wherever, right? So this is the scenario overall. USD quite dependent on data. Okay, it is already in the good, in the green position. Okay, it has given us a very outstanding move since yesterday. Okay, since this point. Okay, since this point, right? It moved up and it has continued moving up. Yesterday also somewhere around here I had posted. If I'm not wrong, let me just check which date, which number was it, because I'm forgetting it. Okay. Okay. Okay, USDX, yeah. Uh, okay. Okay. 101.274. 101. So 101.274 is somewhere here, no? So this had been the scenario, okay? 274 is, yeah, this one is this, yeah. Wait a second. This was the scenario that we had in mind, right? So the lower line is somewhere around, yeah, somewhere around like this and like this, okay? So this was also one of the zones, okay? Because it has come out of this range and it has looked for another support range, okay? This was the scenario and it has continued moving up from there. Currently it is quite very much positive. 102 is very good for dollar, okay? It's almost as if it is reaching for 103 wala level again, but that is completely dependent on the data. Okay, so if positive data, very good, dollar going up, and if negative data, then there is a very big problem because it will completely retrace and will break everything. Okay, so that is also a scenario. But until the federal funds rate comes out, okay, I would say that there is a very possible chance that either this trend line or this trend line will act as a support. We will see that as well from an education perspective. Okay, obviously, so that can be a scenario, that can be one of the most possible scenarios. Okay, so this is the scenario. Overall, it is looking good, very good at 102. Okay, let us move on and see our beloved Australian dollar instead. Yeah, yeah, this is the scenario. Yeah, what a moment. Look at this candle. What a beautiful moment upside. Okay, look at the time because nobody was expecting as such that there can be a hike or not. Okay, now we will leave the data aside. We will try to formulate some type of idea that we can follow in this scenario. Okay, and for that I'm going to a lower time frame so as to show you what is going to happen. Okay, now first of all, what has happened is it has gone up, made a range. Okay, so first of all we have got a very good range. We need to note this range first. Okay, so let us note this range, this to this. Okay, this is a range. Now extend it. Okay, extrapolate it. Right. Now overall, this range is going to help us anyhow. Okay, no matter if the price comes in, price goes down, whatever, but this range is going to help us because this is a proper tabletop wala range. Okay, look at this. Okay, just tweaking it, and I'm just making it right now. Okay, it has not been a prior agenda. The second level that we can look for is this particular range. Okay, this is the scenario. You can extrapolate it, this one. Okay, if I'm considering it, let us just move it to capture this high and capture this low. Okay, this is the scenario, and look at the functions of just the ranges. Okay, okay, just the ranges. Look at the functions that they have performed very smoothly. Okay, it is almost a shift in range. There are three ranges in action here. The first one, the middle wala range, which I had not drawn, and this scenario. Okay, it is a transition zone between these two ranges, and look at the position, how well it is acting. First zone, okay, the price moved up. Okay, made a high, so high also needs to be captured. Okay, so let us make a high here. Okay, and now this high is not very important currently because it has already been broken, right? So that is why it is not very important. Okay, so let us cross this up, and then it has taken support multiple times. Then it got broke down here. Okay, it got broke down. Then it went into this transition area. Okay, this range is here and this range is here. The lower limit, okay, the proximal line and distal line of this zone. Okay, both of these form another range for this particular price action. Now, what has happened is the price is moving with very low volatility until this point. Okay, until this point. Then it takes a support from here and it goes up. I suppose I can. The candles are quite visible because it is visible to me. Maybe it is not visible to you guys. If there is any trouble to your eyes, if you are not able to see it, kindly post it in the chat box. I will zoom it for the comfort. Okay, so for your comfort, I'm just zooming it a little bit more. Okay, you can see every single candle is very small, low volatility until this point. Okay, it has made a high and then it has come down. Okay, almost a bearish harami pattern here. Then it went down, then a bullish engulfing, and it tried to breach this particular zone, cannot breach it, came down, and then it took a support first, took a solid support first. A solid support is what? It is this distal zone of this particular zone, okay? Distal line of this particular zone. It is a solid support. It took a solid support. It it started moving up and it breached this zone, okay? And again ambiguity followed, okay? Again low volatility followed until this point, okay? Now, another important thing to note here is that it is a very good tweezer bottom. Okay, it is a very good tweezer bottom. Okay, both of these candles. So if this candle is here and the open of this candle is exactly on the close, and it starts moving up and it closes above, it itself is a very bullish position while it is maintaining that position. Okay, so if I'm going down to even lower time frames, say for example 3 minutes or 2 minutes or something like that, let us look at this. Yes, where is it? Yes, within 1 minute you see how long this candle has become. Okay, within 1 minute, what a movement upside, 0.7%, and you will not get time to, you know, capture this moment. Within a minute it goes up. What can you do in this scenario? Okay, is that a valid question to ask? So what can you do in this scenario? If the price is just moving up, it is going from 0.6626 to directly to 0.667, right? And that is a very good jump. Let us see how much jump it is, right? It is going from this to this. 44 pips difference, 0.68% difference. Okay, 44 is, I'm saying less. Okay. So if it is going up like this, how to capture this movement, how to enter in this train? Okay, what you can do is take a position on the distal line, okay, on the proximal line in this case, and this is the proximal line. Okay, start your position here. Okay, keep a stop order, keep a limit order. Okay, okay, keep a stop order here, and then just trace it, nothing else. Cannot do anything else, right? So that is one of the cases here. Otherwise, you are just active in the market. You just take up position here or probably back here because this was a good support zone and then it has went up. If you are, you miss the train of this particular 1 minute candle, you can enter while this range is exited. Okay, so if the price action enters in this range, you know that this is a resistance zone and it has acted as a resistance zone. Let me show it to you. Okay, look at this. Has acted as a resistance zone, right? It has performed a very good gravestone doji here in this particular candle. If you can see or not, I don't know. Look at this, very good gravestone, and then it has come down. It slowed down a little bit, but there was continued support, so it went up again. Where can you enter this particular scenario, right? And this is the movement upside. Now it is going constantly up and has now entered our range again. Okay, so talking about the current scenario is this. Okay, our range is this. What to expect an Australian dollar? Obviously very easy. Okay, if it is maintaining this range, it is positive. Okay, now this might also look as a double bottom. Look at this. Now this is a better example of a double bottom. Okay, I can consider this a double bottom. Okay, because this is the moment downside. This is a pullback as well. So pullback can and will happen near this particular scenario. Let us say this is the trend line, extending it like this. Okay, that is the neckline. Okay, okay, not exactly a double bottom because it has pulled back itself. It can be moving in this particular range, or it can just go up again, try to break this particular trend line as well. Okay, so that is also a possibility. Both the things are happening here, but the important thing from a long term perspective, because this is a 1 minute time frame. Okay, what we can expect is this range has to be broken in order to come to bring Australian dollar down. Okay, that is the scenario. Important note that we can take here is this. Okay. 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 Okay, I suppose we have got it. Look at this. Now, if you will look at this, now it is a 1 minute time frame, but still it will happen. Okay, it will act as a range. Okay, or it will act as a pullback and continued movement. Okay, upside. Both the possibilities are there. If it breaks this trend line, then it will continue downside. Okay, 1 minute time frame not very suitable for us, but this is very suitable. Okay, look at this. Let's remove all this. Okay, look at this. The EMAs are not functioning really well. Okay, it has got a very good positive till this point. Okay, and now they are playing with each other. Okay, volatility is low. The EMAs are playing with each other. It's not a very good time to enter any market. Okay, be it Australian dollar, be it any other dollar. Okay, this is the scenario. Okay, that is why we are not getting a clear signal as such. There might be a stiff movement based on the data. There might be a strong movement either upside or downside, but it depends on the data. Okay, currently we are in the ambiguous zone in this particular scenario as well. Okay, but one thing that has outperformed, I would say, both the previous scenarios is our yellow metal, the gold, right? Now, one preface to gold is that the gold has always functioned and it will function any day of the week. Okay, forget this. Don't look at these two zones. Okay, I have just missed zones. Okay, that is okay. Consider these. Now, 1978, somewhere around 1979.1, I had said yesterday, was the support, right? And it was struggling at this support. It was looking as if it will be going down. Okay, what happened is very much important. What happened is it took a support just below this line. Okay, 1977, somewhere around. It took a support at 1977.1, and one would think, yes, it is over. After looking at this red candle, he will enter a short position. Okay, now talking about strictly education purposes only. Okay, now what one will think that there will be continued bearishness, but what we need continued bearish movement, confirmed movement downside. It was not there. It was near to a support zone. What happened is it took a support and it went up. It shot up, I would say. It shot up. It captured this particular zone. That is also mentioned. That was also mentioned in yesterday's Eagle's Eye, I would say. Yeah, if you are following us on Telegram, you would know uh, what has happened. Okay, so it has shot up. Okay, again it took a resistance somewhere around at this point, and this candle was superbly good, almost a marubozu, again a marubozu, and then it started reacting to the resistances, all that baggage of bullishness. And now this was the distribution time, and distribution happened very quickly. So where we started, where that is the only place we landed. Okay, so the same thing, retracement happened. Okay, but what needs to do, what one needs to understand here is that we already know where are the supports and resistances. Okay, to draw these supports and resistances, that is very important. Okay, on point 1979 is not possible. That what I'm saying, that position will be the dot buying position. No, if the price is breaking down, you need to be patient at that point. Okay, if it is breaking down, we need to wait and confirm that yes, it is going to continue down. That is the question. If it is pulling back up, then that is a very good position for buying as well. Okay, so it has happened, and what a moment upside, man. So much of pips to earn. Okay, I went down again, and once we see that yes, it is now acting weirdly. Once this candle is formed, then this candle is formed. Now if you can see, spinning tops are formed like this only. On the top, look at this is also called a cradle pattern. Okay, if you will go into the advanced candlestick patterns analysis and all that, this almost looks like a cradle pattern. Okay, cradle in the sense of a small baby's cradle, na? So that this looks like that cradle pattern, and then a break from the cradle pattern going down continuously. So both the things were quite honestly very easily decipherable and very easily understood. Important thing to note here is that once a support remains a support until it is broken. So that is one of the takeaway points for you guys who are watching this. Probably who are watching this live, as well as those who will watch this as a recorded session. Pardon me. So those of you will who will watch this session, right, as a recorded session, they would also understand this scenario. Okay, once a support remains a support. Okay, so that is one of the most important lines that we are having. Okay, now this resistance is also important. However, it was broken like anything here. Okay, like it is nothing. It was broken at this point. Okay, yeah, and it was slashed again like butter is being completely cut by a knife like this here. But this point is important actually. This level is important. It was not respected as much in this high volatility action, but still it will act as a resistance to the price action currently. Okay, and that's what you note here. It has made a high around 1990, and this particular zone is at 1991.5. So this is the zone that we are working in currently. Okay, on the daily time frame, daily good, the gold looks quite overbought. Okay, it's almost like when you eat so much of sweets, na, it becomes almost diabetic wala sweet. That is the scenario currently of gold. Okay, it is diabetically sweet. That is how sweet it is right now. Because everyone is just buying and hogging on to this particular thing. Okay, and is not very sustainable. We need to have a very good position upside. A very good. Now looking at this particular scenario, you can see a double bottom has been formed. Okay, for for the viewers, you can see. Okay, this one, this is a double bottom where the neckline is completely broken by a very good upside movement. Okay, very good downtrend movement, very good upside movement. That is the scenario, and the neckline is completely thrashed in this scenario. The perfect example of a perfect double bottom. Okay, this, I will just zoom in. Those who can, are watching on smaller devices, smaller screens, are not able to see it probably, I suppose. Okay, now you can see it, right? And this is a proper double bottom, right? One bottom, second bottom, a second bottom. After second bottom, there has to be higher volume and higher volatility. Okay, higher green movement. Okay, higher bullish movement. Okay, so that is the scenario here. It is not about the structure. It is more about where the entries are coming in, where the exits are happening. Okay, that is the scenario. Where people are entering, you most probably want to enter there. Okay, even if it is a double bottom, double top, or whatever pattern that you have drawn, if it is not, if the people are not acting on it, it will not work. Correct? And this people has acted on this absolutely well, and it has gone up. So this is the scenario. I was 1857, 1825. Acha, it has retraced na in the March. Okay, it retraced from this position. Okay, and this position is also a retracement level, 1963 somewhat. And now we are in a position, very precarious situation. Last high was somewhere around 2070, I suppose, and currently we are faring 2000, nearly 2000, 1980 to 2000. This is 1964, this is 2000 something, 2500, 2005. Now, the important thing to note here, the gold should not close below this level. 1960, 1950, you can consider. Extended movement, 1950. Okay. It should not close below in this particular month, below 1950. If it closes below 1950, that means that there is a very good chance that gold will continue downside. But if it maintains 1950, then that is a very good chance that gold will continue its movement up and it will make a higher high. Okay, higher high in the sense all time high, more than 2070. Okay, so this has been our session today. Thank you very much for joining in today, and those who understood it and who learned from it, kindly share it with your friends and family, those who are interested in learning about the markets and how to identify and understand this particular uh, price action strategies and all that. And to those who have been very patient listeners, thank you very much, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, happy learning. Goodbye.